Nano Machine. Bai, Anhongweolja. Chapter 84, Learn the Seven Demon Sword, Part 1. Excluding the Lord, elders in the cult were second to none in terms of rank within the demonic cult. There was a total of 12 elders, and powerful warriors or leaders of powerful clans were chosen to be elders. There were some exceptions, especially from 1st to 6th elder spot. These spots were passed down within the 6 clans. However, that didn't mean that those elders were weak. The 6 clans always competed to give birth to a new lord, so they were always more powerful than most. Other than those 6 elders, the other 6 leaders were those who were chosen to be leaders because of their own power. 9th elder Manu was a member of the high-ranked clan called the Dragon Fist clan. He had served in the past Demon Justice War and achieved many feats which allowed him to become an elder. Manu then supported his clan to become a powerful clan which was almost as powerful as the 6 clans themselves. Thus, all 6 heirs asked the Dragon Fist clan first. Chun Kungwon of the Sword clan, Chun Wonryu of the Lust clan, Mu Kiam of the Loyal clan, and Yu Chan all contacted Mun Ku multiple times right after the first test, but Mun Ku declined every offer. This was to not side with any of the clans for the upcoming competition since the Dragon Fist clan did not want to fight against any of the clans by siding with another. Mun Ku had joined the academy to increase his power and prove himself. This was why Jia Wumin insisted on telling Yoan to take Mun Ku in. Mun Ku had potential, but Yoan wanted members, not just power. From the way he talked, it seemed like Mun Ku was offering to join for the test only. Are you saying you will side with me? Or do you just want in as a group member? Mun Ku hesitated. He tried explaining his story to get in without mentioning his intention, but he didn't expect Yoan to ask him directly again. Cool. You must stay neutral even in the academy. However, we as humans might change our minds. If you find someone you really want to serve, then take a good look at him and judge carefully. That's what his grandfather told him before. If Mun Ku were to serve Yoan, then he wanted to know more. However, he still needed a group leader to not fail the test. Mun Ku thought for a second and said, Prince, can I think about joining you after I join the team first? It won't take long. It sounded like Mun Ku wanted to solve the problem first and think later. Yoan shook his head. If he allowed this to happen, then he would have accepted every other cadet. Really? Then I refuse. Huh? Mun Ku became shocked. He didn't think Yoan would refuse right at that moment. Jia Wumin was also shocked and quickly ran up to Yoan. Master. He has gone through some tough times. Why don't you think about it? He then sent a telepathic message to persuade Yoan. Master. We will regret it if we don't take someone like Mun Ku. Every prince wants him. It would be easier to persuade Mun Ku after letting him join. Ko Wonger also seemed to agree with the idea and sent a message. Master, if a group leader level cadet knelt down, then it is likely he will join us for the greater cause. Maybe we should make an exception and… Yoan shook his head. I cannot make an exception for any circumstances. Yoan's choice was correct. He had to stand by his words that he had said in front of everyone. No. Mun Ku started to panic. He limped over to Yoan and begged him. Prince. Can you give me at least 3 days then? No. No? Then how about 2 days? I need some time to think. Yoan frowned. He had refused, but why did he want to join him so much? It seemed weird that a grandson of an elder was begging to join him. Why do you want to join my team? That's… Yoan ordered Nano. Nano, analyze the facial muscles. Analyzing. Yoan then saw augmented reality activating through his eyes. The white lines locked onto Mun Ku's face as Mun Ku began to speak. That's because I want to see what kind of man you are for a bit longer. His eyes did not lie. However, the result that came was unexpected. Error. The white light turned red across Mun Ku's face. What's going on? Cannot analyze the entity. Why? Entity's facial surface has been covered by artificial leather, thus concealing the muscles. The white line then drew a circle at the back of Mun Ku's face and zoomed in so Yoan could see it closely. The skin was a bit different at the back of the ears with faint lines. Is that an artificial facial mask? Artificial facial masks were created by the leather of animal or by using real human skin to create another face to wear over one's face. It was created with such expertise that not even experienced warriors could notice it. However, it was easy for Nano to see through it. Creating such a mask required a high experience skill and there only 3 were people known to be able to create it in all of Wulin. One of them was the 12th elder, Huan Yi, or the 1,000 Faces. Why did he hide his face? Yoan then became more suspicious of Mun Ku. That's when Nano's voice rang inside Yoan's head. Analyzing the body. The entity has been identified to be a female aged 15 to 17 years old. What? A girl? Yoan's eyes widened. So, it was actually a girl who was hiding under a boy's mask. Manu did talk a bit like a girl, but it didn't seem to be out of place. What is he doing? Manu was confused as Yoan kept on looking at her. Not to mention, Yoan was looking at her neck and ears. Is he? No. That's not possible. Even Left Guardian Lee Hamming did not know that she was wearing a mask, so there was no way Yoan would be able to recognize her. Yoan then mumbled with a confused expression, "You, a girl. Hike." Manu then flushed red and frantically bowed and shouted, I want to join, you prince. I didn't need to think. Please take me in. Huh? The cadets were bewildered by the sudden change of thought. Manu's eyes teared up as she looked at Yoan. He was curious as to why she wanted to hide her gender so badly, even to the point where she needed to change her stance of needing more time. I will explain later in private. Yoan sighed at Manu's message and nodded. Jia Wumin smiled with excitement. He didn't want to lose a talented individual like Manu. Manu, long time no see. Why yeah, long time no see, Wumin. Manu replied to Jia Wumin, but she didn't feel so good for Yoan realizing something that she had kept a secret for a long time. Welcome. I am Kowanger. I am Baggi. I am Haobang. Yoan's members welcomed Manu wholeheartedly. There were other members who joined also. With 26 new cadets, Chun Yoan's group was the largest force in the academy, with a total number of 53 members. I have a lot now. He needed to form a new group now. We will need to form a new group with this many people. The ones I list off will be a group leader. Yes, sir. The cadets were intrigued. Yoan's decision here meant that those people were Yoan's trusted servants. First, Kowanger. Yes, master. Second, Baki. Baki was a powerful warrior. Yoan thought about giving Baki rough cadets who could be unruly at times, but Baki was definitely qualified to handle them. Third, Hosangwa. Yes, master. Take care of the girl cadets. From thinking about the group training or dormitories, Yoan thought that girls needed to be with girls and Hosangwa was the best within the girl group. Now, 2 tags were left. Next, Gallon. Huh? You lead one of the groups too. Yoan gave Gallon a tag because the former 12th group cadets followed Gallon's words more than anyone else. Thank you. I will do my best. Gallon, who didn't think he would have such a chance, bowed to Yoan. Lastly, Yoan turned to Hubong. New members became confused as none of them thought Hubong would be a leader. But the original 7 members knew Hubong for his loyalty, so they didn't think it was strange. But Hubong shouted before Yoan could speak. Master. I need to stay by your side at all times. I see. The last tag then went to Jia Wumin. There were more powerful warriors here like Yuparan, but they hadn't won Yoan's trust yet. After forming a new team and eating dinner, Yoan met with Manu alone at the back of the training room building. Manu was red from embarrassment. Why did you hide the fact that you are a woman? Chapter 85, Learn the 7 Demon Sword, Part 2. I put a decent amount of effort into this one. It's one of my masterpieces. You can use it for at least 5 years if you take care of it. It was what 12th Elder Huani said to her when he gave it to her. It was created from pigskin and other various materials made to withstand against most shocks. It even changed the color of the skin when Huani worked on his magic on it. She needed to take it off every day to let the air flow through, and it required new glue, but Manu gladly took it. How did he find out? You told me nobody would ever find out about it. Huani claimed that no one would be able to realize that it was a mask. Yet Yoan saw right through it and even found out that she was a girl. Should I say that I am too ugly so I had to hide my face? No, that's too dumb. That excuse didn't explain why she had to hide her gender. From what she experienced, Chun Yoan didn't seem like the type to trust others easily. Her face turned from one to another with various expressions, and she soon became depressed and Yoan frowned. Manu emotions were obvious on her face, much like Hubong. Manu then looked up to Yoan with begging eyes. Prince. Please don't tell anyone about this. It's not like you will be kicked out if the others know. Why are you hiding it? The demonic cult valued strength. It did not matter if the one who held the strength was a boy or a girl. Do you have a scar on your face? Or are you too ugly or something? Manu became dumbfounded. She thought Yoan would not believe such excuses, but since he asked so seriously, it seemed like Yoan thought it was a plausible reason. Manu sighed, phew. Prince, promise me. Promise? That you will never tell this to anyone. Ever. Okay. Yoan answered hesitantly. Manu then leaned back against the building wall with her limp leg and started talking. This face is the face of my twin brother. What? Manu was a twin. She had a brother named Manu who was the future leader of her clan. Their father, Mun Sung, was killed right before the twins were born by the evil forces. After experiencing such shock, their mother had trouble giving birth. Mother died while giving birth to my brother. Yoan realized she had been raised without her parents. Yoan felt more sympathetic as he too had no parents. My brother was always weak since he wasn't given a proper birth. Unlike Manu, who came out first normally, Manu was born with a defect of being mentally ill. It was very shocking for Manu, who just lost his son. He now had a mentally ill grandson who was the only one who could succeed the family. It was unfortunate for the Dragon Fist clan who always had a male to lead the family. Manu then hid the fact that his grandson was mentally ill. He tried very hard to heal his grandson, but nothing worked. Grandfather was very sad. He barely made his clan powerful like that of the 6 clans, but no one could succeed him. Unlike Manu's talent at martial arts was astounding. She had reached the master level just when she was just 16, and Manu was glad and sad at the same time. And that's when the time to join the academy came closer. Manu hesitated. All clans were required to send students to join the academy, but he couldn't send Manu, who could barely speak. If he sent his granddaughter instead, that was same as saying that his grandson had a problem. Is there a reason for not revealing your brother's sickness? Yoan asked since he was confused. In his opinion, the problem was going to be revealed sooner or later anyway. All 6 clans want to take our clan under their wing. The 6 clans were always competing with equal power between them. The Wise clan was the strongest at the moment, but having the Dragon Fist clan would be enough to turn the tide. They always ask us, and if they realize what happened to us? Ugh. Manu scowled. If the Dragon Fist clan's only successor was mentally ill, it would be easy to take the entire clan under them by marrying Manu off instead. I see. Yoan nodded understandingly. So, grandfather declared to be neutral to protect our clan. The 9th elder wanted to keep his clan from being absorbed into one of the 6 clans. Manu then gave him a surprising idea. I told him I would join the academy as a male student. She also knew about the situation of her clan, so she decided to join the academy in place of her brother. If I pretend like I'm my brother and do well at the academy, the 6 clans won't try to play tricks on us at least. Manu did not want it at first. But he soon asked his friend, and the only one who knows about the details of his clan, 12th elder Huan Yi, to make her a mask, and that's how she was here now. However, the thing was that she did not use her brother's name. This was as a precaution just in case her gender was revealed so that her clan or her brother would not take the blame. So, this was what happened. Yoan then lost all suspicion he had of her. For the first time, he fully understood another person's problem. He's very serious. Manu grinned at Yoan, who was seriously listening to her story. I guess that explains my mask? Yoan nodded. Manu too felt a bit relieved after telling her secret to someone. She then emphasized it again. Prince, you really have to keep this a secret. Yeah. You have to keep it. Please. Manu had a very girlish accent, but she had a boy's face and voice. Did you change your voice too? Manu intentionally spoke with a hoarser voice to mimic a boy's voice. She smiled and changed her voice to a higher and smoother voice. Of course. I can't let anyone know, you know? Yoan was surprised. That was definitely a girl's voice. But making this boy voice makes my throat dry. That's why Manu did not speak much if she could. It's much better to speak in my own voice. Heh. She smiled and Yoan also smiled back. Huh? Oh no. Manu then looked up at the dark night and began taking something out from her pocket. It was a small bottle. I almost forgot. Huh? It's my time to put on glue on the mask. I forgot while talking to you. Is that the glue? Yeah. This is really taxing, you know. I have to glue it every night or else it might come off. Oh. The mask made from Huan Yi was very well made so that it didn't feel awkward while wearing it, but it always needed constant gluing. It was so hard to glue this on myself with my broken arm. At least there's an upside to something. She then took the end part of the mask and pulled it off her face. The mask then stretched like rubber and was peeled off, revealing what was underneath. Yoan let out a gasp of astonishment without realizing. She had a pure white face with large, glittery eyes, and she had small pink lips. Her beauty shined under the moonlight and it made even Chun Yoan, who was indifferent toward others, mesmerized. Here. Hold it up with both your hands. Huh? Like this? Yeah. Yoan held up his hands and Manu placed her mask in them. She then opened the bottle and began spreading the glue on the inner surface of the mask. See how annoying it is? Hee hee. She smiled and Yoan blushed. It was the first time Yoan thought that someone of the opposite gender was pretty. Yoan, however, did not know what this emotion was, so he soon returned to his normal expression. There we go. Thank you. Ku finished re-gluing it and placed the mask over her face again. It looked like it was a bit difficult to place it over her face with one hand, so Yoan had to help her out. Soon, Ku was back to wearing her brother's face. I did it quickly, thanks to you. It's good that someone knows my secret. Heh. Ku spoke with a smile. She then asked Yoan, as you can see, I cannot train right now because I'm injured. Are you going to train in the training room? Yeah. Then I'll go back to the dorm and rest for today. Oh, what is your room number? I stay in the 7th room in the 4th building. I'll move my stuff over to your room then now that I'm in your group. I'll see you later. Ku then limped over in the direction of the dormitory. Yoan then moved to walk toward the training room when a thought struck at him that made him stop in his tracks. Wait, she's a girl. Ku was a girl, and she was now going to come to stay at boys' dormitory. Yoan wondered how he should deal with this. Chapter 86, Learn the 7-Demon Sword, Part 3. Late at night, Chun Yoan finally got the time to train in a private training room for a long time before he came out satisfied. He learned that having a good place to train instead of a dark and humid cave was quite important. When he came out, Hu Bong and the other cadets were waiting for him. Master. Not all of them were waiting since it was too hard to walk around with a group of 53 people. Yoan had ordered them to group up with their group leaders, so there was a total of 9 members with 2 missing. One was Ojong who was still receiving medical treatment, and the other was Manu who was at the dorm. Let's go. Yeah. It was the last night for getting a yellow tag, but they weren't attacked on their way back. This was due to the fact that the cadets had realized that they couldn't mess with Chun Yoan who had defeated Chun Yuchan. While Yoan was not targeted, a total of 2 leaders were stripped of their yellow tags that night. One of the cadets who stole a tag from another leader was Chun Mukiam from the Loyal clan. He had just gotten out of the medical room yesterday after staying there for almost 10 days. Nonetheless, he had his loyal servant, Jayun. Jayun had gathered members to form groups for Mukiam who would be coming out of the medical room soon. Ugh, damn it. Mukiam became exhausted after taking the tag. He tried to take on the leader alone, but most of the groups were moving together so they had to have a group fight instead. I was left behind. It was only 10 days, but the cadets had gotten much stronger now. Most of the cadets were now at the level of top-class warriors. Mukiam also consumed the Black Dragon Ball and that pushed him to the entrance of the master level. Damn it. So, even when he fought 321st Cadet Han Pingwen who lacked 10 years of internal energy compared to Mukiam, it took a total of 30 formation battles. Mukiam also had pain in his left shoulder where Pingwen had injured him. Bastard. Mukiam became annoyed that he was injured by a mere warrior from a high-ranked clan, and kicked Pengwan's stomach although the boy had already passed out. I need to become much stronger if I want to defeat that monster. He didn't call Yoan a peasant anymore. After Yoan defeating Chun Wonryu, Chun Jongsum, and Chun Yuchan, Yoan was a terrifying monster in Mukiam's mind. I'll catch up to him. He didn't look down on Chun Yoan anymore. To him, Yoan was not a target of his anger, but an obstacle he had to face in order to become the Lord. At the same time, Yoan had returned to the dorm. The room was lit, and Manu was reading the 7-Demon Sword skill book on her bed. Oh, you are here. Manu greeted him and Yoan nodded awkwardly. Yoan still felt awkward about letting a girl stay in the same room with these boys. What have I done? His promise to keep Ku's secret had come back to hit him. He regretted making the promise, but there was no going back. She does look like a boy though, ugh. She had the mask on, which made her fit right in, but the problem was that Yoan knew she was a girl. Yoan then thought he had to pay attention when they changed clothes. Then that happened. Ugh, this is so hot. Hu Bong, who was drenched in sweat, took all his clothes off. He quickly grabbed some spare clothes and ran out of the room to go wash up. Hu Bong. Yoan covered his face with his hand. This was a boys' dormitory and a lot of boys went straight to the bath but naked after training. I'm sorry. I can't protect you. Hu Bong had shown off everything just now. Yoan glanced over at Manu, but she was concentrated on reading the book. He sighed in relief. Yoan then tried to tell the other members to not strip themselves naked within the dorm room, but, "Let's go wash. Ugh, I'm so sweaty." Before he could even speak, half of his members stripped themselves and ran out to wash. It was too late. "Don't leave me behind." Jean Guk, who was usually shy, even threw off his clothes and ran after them. Even the remaining 3 members who still had some clothes on went out in their underwear. "This is crazy." All his teammates just showed off their body parts to a girl. Yoan turned to Ku, but she was still focusing on the book. Was she doing that on purpose? "Hey, are you okay?" Yoan asked as everyone had left the room. Ku replied without letting her eyes leave the book. She sounded very calm and casual. "It's okay. I've been through this so much now. I'm used to it. Why, you can go ahead too. Don't mind me." Ku had been with the other boys before she came to this room. It was apparent she had seen this happen multiple times already. But Yoan only saw Ku diving into the book with a blush on her face. "How could I not mind?" Yoan sighed and took clothes to change into and went out. After that day, Yoan told his teammates to not take off their clothes inside the dorm room. His members were confused, but they followed his orders. Chapter 87, Learn the 7-Demon Sword, Part 4. The next morning, Yoan reported about the yellow tag to the main building of the Demonic Academy and was declared as the leader for the 3rd test. There were only 11 leaders up until yesterday morning, but with Yoan's 5 groups under him, the total number of groups increased. Chun Kung, of the Sword Clan, also made another group under him, so there was now a total of 16 groups. 700th Cadet Sama Chuk had 2 tags, but he didn't make another group. So, a total of 15 cadets were not in a group, and they were destined to fail when the test came around. They had to find groups within the remaining 21 days. After registering to become the leader, Yoan and his members got breakfast and went up to the small hill behind the dorms. It was time to train the 7-Demon Sword. "Since I have my own group, I want to teach my members by myself." Huh? They originally planned to train the 7-Demon Sword altogether, but Yoan was surprised to hear the unexpected request. Ko Wonger agreed with Bakki's request. "Bakki is right. It will be too much to teach all these members at the same time. It's better for us to teach our own groups instead." It did make sense. Chun Yoan was the strongest warrior in his group, but it was too much for him to teach every member. "I second that idea myself." Galen also wanted to teach his own group since he had his own way of training the 12th group. Yoan hesitated for a bit. He knew that they were asking for this for an entirely different reason than what they were proposing. There was a faint hint of competition going on between Bakki, Ko Wonger, and Galen. This all started during breakfast. "It will take at least 7 days to train the 7-Demon Sword." "That's too long. I only need 3 days and then start formations after 7. Bakki made this claim thoughtlessly when Ko Wonger was just sharing the idea. This fired up the competition between them. And when breakfast was almost over, they were now making bets on who would finish learning the demon sword formation faster. "I heard you guys talk already." Yoan shook his head. He was with them all along when they were talking about the competition, and it was funny that they were sharing ideas for different reasons. However, it wasn't too bad to use the competition to make them learn faster. "Okay. Do what you will." "Thank you." The 3 members then took their groups to train in different spots. "Master, I need more members." "You too, Wumin?" "Me too. Master, can you train our members while we gather more members?" Zhao Wumin and Ho Sanghua needed more members, so they couldn't start training today. There were still many cadets who didn't have a group, so both of them walked down the mountain to recruit other cadets. Actually, Bakki needs more members too. Bakki, who hated accepting help, probably went down to recruit more members without asking Yoan. It would have been too much if Yoan had to take Bakki's members also. Bakki, Wumin, and Sanghua all needed to recruit members who are willing to become Yoan's forces, so it would probably take them some time. 17 cadets all lined up with wooden swords in their hands. Most of them had just become top-class warriors, so the 7-Demon Sword was their first top-class martial art. They were used to the skill after reading the book already. "Finally, we're learning from our master." Hu Bong looked at Yoan with anticipation. The other cadets also looked forward to being taught by Yoan as they knew how powerful he was. However, since there were too many people here, they probably wouldn't get the chance to watch Yoan one-on-one. "Should I start now?" It was Yoan's first time teaching someone else, so he became nervous. But he was going to do his best to teach his members just like how Right Guardian Submang had taught him. "Let me show you how it's done first." Yoan got up slowly and ready to use the seven-demon sword. When everyone began to concentrate, Yoan unleashed the sword movements of the seven-demon sword. He did it very slowly so that every cadet could carefully observe every movement. Woa! They were astounded as Yoan's movement was just like how the skill book described it. Most martial artists had imperfections in their movements if it was a martial art that they had just learned, but Yoan did it like he had trained in the art for tens of years. Was he really locked up in a prison cave just until yesterday? Manu was beyond shocked to see his movements. She knew that Yoan had been locked up for 5 days, but his movements were just too perfect. This is incredible, is he a genius? Manu was also a very talented warrior who was well into the master level, but she would also say that it was almost impossible to perfect the skill in such a short amount of time. Of course, this was the only result of Chun Yoan having the entire skill book transferred into his brain. Good. Did you see it all carefully? Yes. It was done very slowly, so the cadets were able to identify the right movements easily. Yoan then glanced over at them and said, "So, I will guide each one of you. Go ahead and try your best in showing me the sword movement." Yay! Is it for real? His members rejoiced. This meant that Yoan was going to teach them one by one. We're so lucky. It wasn't very common for highly experienced warriors to teach others one-on-one. Hubong became excited also and asked, "Master, who should start first then?" Everyone tensed up after hearing such an important question. There were so many people here, so it was better to be the first one to get taught. However, what came out of Yoan's mouth was unexpected to say the least. "What do you mean? You all will be showing me the sword art at once. It will take forever for me to go through each of you one by one." Huh? Everyone was dumbfounded. They all knew that Yoan was powerful, but how could he watch all these people's movements in detail at the same time?